You're watching Notepad with me, Ibrahim Sani. Now, if you don't know what co-working spaces are, well, you're not alone. In my quest to trying to understand what co-working space is all about, my journey has taken me all the way to Penang, where I interviewed one of the co-working space providers there, and the discussion is actually quite interesting. This is because over the past decade, Malaysia has rapidly grown as one of Southeast Asia's thriving business hubs, catering to a variety of businesses ranging from small to large organizations. So aside from Kuala Lumpur, Penang is one of the other areas that co-working space companies are indeed trying to keep an eye on. And because of Penang's emerging infrastructure and business market, it has rendered itself more than well equipped in becoming the nation's next most sought after business hub. I spoke to the CEO and co-founder of one company. Here's my conversation with Mr. Juhn Teo.
Yeah, so basically co-working in its main form is broken up into generally three different types of spaces, three different types of membership. So you've got the hot desk, which is what you see here.
Okay.
So this is the entry level aspect of co-working, where you can sit wherever you want throughout the day. There's other parts of the hot desking around the back and the sides as well. You break out wherever you want, sit wherever you want, get onto the Wi-Fi. That's hot desking. As we walk through the space, I'll point out the other two types for you.
Okay.
There's the fixed desking, whereby you pay a little bit more than the hot desk, but that desk is yours for the entire duration of your membership.
Okay.
And then the meat of the co-working spaces, especially for Common Ground, are these private offices. So they generally range from anywhere between 2-man rooms all the way up to 10, 12-man rooms. So they're generally focused on the needs of the SMEs, so SMEs of 2-man, 4-man, 6-man type of companies that want their own private and secure space, locked doors, confidentiality, that suits their needs mainly. So this is a typical 4-person private office with a view.
Okay.
It suits a company that obviously wants their own space. They'll generally have their confidential information, files. It comes with lockable drawers. They'll generally bring in their own desktops or big screens. So it's something that they can't have outside in the hot desking, and they want a space that they can lock up at the end of the night or have as a private space throughout the day. This is probably the most typical size and the most typical type of inventory that we have at Common Ground. This is the fixed desking now. So as I mentioned before, it's that second tier out of the 3 tiers of memberships. This is where you pay a little bit more, and that desk is yours. For instance, that gentleman there, that desk is his for the entire duration of his membership. It suits people who have desktop computers or large screens, people who don't want to move from seat to seat every day. And as you can see, we've come through the private access area. So this is the members only part of Common Ground here.
Okay, I see. So there was a gateway to get to this kind of place.
Yeah.
As opposed to just up the escalator, off you go and you get a desk.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. And the thought process behind that, was that, this is the kind of premium services that you want to offer, and that was like a light version. That was like a candy for the dope kind of thing, the free dope kind of thing. And this is the part where you pay the dope.
Yeah, I think it's we separate the spaces into members access only and non-members access only. We really wanted to focus on having a big part of our space that's non-members access. There's a lot of co-working spaces that will just be entirely, strictly members only, right from the beginning. But at Common Ground, what we wanted to do was harness a collaborative environment where there's a section of our space where the public can come in. Not just the hot deskers, but anyone, your guests, people just coming in for a coffee, to have a coffee from our barista there at the cafe, and to engage in meetings and conversations with people here.
And I'm pretty sure that some of the competitors are actually watching this interview, and they'll be as interested as me in trying to understand your pricing structure. Would you argue that Common Ground has a more competitive pricing structure, or is there a slight premium or even a great premium towards what you offer compared to other co-working spaces?
Yeah, not at all. I think our pricing is very much in line with what the other operators are offering, particularly when it's in a very comparable location. So because we've got quite a number of venues now, our pricing does vary from one end of the range to the other, but that's very much location dependent. So there are certain locations where real estate is slightly cheaper than other places. So we do have quite a wide spread of different prices.
That's interesting. So I don't pay a flat rate membership fee, one price fix all kind of thing.
Only for hot desking. Then it's standardized across all the venues. But apart from that, every room and every fixed desk in across different venues probably have different pricing.
And this price structure is about the same as other co-working companies?
Other co-working companies and other service office companies in a similar location in a grade A office building.
Don't go anywhere. We'll come back with more conversations with Mr. Juhn Teo right after this. Thanks for staying on. You're watching Notepad with me, Ibrahim Sani. In this interview, as I mentioned earlier, I was still in conversation with Mr. Juhn Teo, the CEO of one company called Common Ground. And I just recently returned from Penang because the Chief Minister, Yang Berhormat Tuan Chow Kun Yew, was also there to announce that Penang is looking to grow its global business services industry, or GBS industry. And how they intend to do this is by constructing more office spaces to meet market demand. In line with Penang's vision, Common Ground, one of Malaysia's companies that are offering co-working spaces, has launched a site there on that island. And this is my conversation with the people there, trying to understand this business a little bit better. We know that anybody can offer this very homogeneous kind of offering. I'm sure that Common Ground is trying to diversify your offering right now. How do you plan to, really set yourself different ahead of your competitors?
Yeah, that's a really good question. As I mentioned before, landlords with good space and a bit of capital can do a wonderful space themselves. They can do their own co-working space, get a nice architect, get it all done. Where we differentiate ourselves is we're really going back to the crux of why people want to join a co-working space. And it is for the lovely design, it is for the nice atmosphere, the beautiful office, but I think that they're also joining a co-working space because they want to be part of a community. They want all those benefits that come with being part of a larger body of people. So we asked ourselves this question a while back. We said, look, what would our members want? And we have surveyed a lot of them over time. We've run focus groups with them to really find out why they're joining us and what will make them stay. A lot of things have come out of all that questioning and that process revealed a lot to us. Some things we knew, some things we didn't know actually. And so we've spent a lot of the time in the last year building out all these ancillary offerings beyond the physical space.
So let's get into the details. What are the kind of ancillary offerings that you at least have in the pipeline, wish to execute as soon as possible? Perhaps some of them are even being rolled out as we speak right now.
Yeah, so the easy ones back in the early days were making sure we had a large and diverse calendar of events and cool things that people wanted to get involved in, either at lunchtimes or after work or before work or on a weekend. So these events range from everything from educational events, listening to how to IPO your business or a digital marketing strategy talk, all the way to lifestyle and more fun events. So it could be a wine tasting, it could be a hiking group that gets together on Saturdays, and there's a yoga session every Monday night in one of the venues. These are things that happen organically amongst our community, and a lot of it comes from the members themselves. That there's a a lot of experience and wisdom within every venue, and so these members are willing to share it with other members. So we organise that into a very formal way where any member of Common Ground can tap into any of these events in other Common Grounds even and go and attend them and enrich their experience. So that was the easiest bit actually. So we got that going early on with an app that could inform everyone and people could search what kind of events they wanted to attend. All the way to things such as business opportunities. So now
do you mean business matching, that kind of stuff?
That's right, yeah. So it's not so much a jobs board. That is one aspect of it. We have a lot of SMEs, a lot of companies here, and we have a lot of freelancers and entrepreneurs. So there's a lot of opportunity there between people and between companies in our whole network. So we created the part of the app that lets them find each other for jobs, no doubt, but also for contracts, for partnership opportunities, for fundraising and investing even. Options are endless. They can put in their requirements, and our app will be able to figure out, based on their requirements, matching keywords and alert each other as to the fact that there might be someone in the hallway down the road from you, or even in another venue that might give you those opportunities that you're looking for. All the way to things like shared interest groups. So we've got multiple shared interest groups started up by our members. These are things from health and fitness to golf group to a scuba diving group. These are things that people join and they can get together and organically meet other members and do things beyond the workspace.
You were talking about education as well. Let's talk a little bit more about your focus into education.
Yeah, so we are tying up with some colleges and some educational institutions to offer training programs, workshops, and master's programs with Common Ground. We'll be launching an MBA program pretty soon as well. The results of a lot of our surveying with members revealed that actually a lot of people want self-enrichment. They want to be able to learn a lot more themselves or from the community, and they were very much willing to enroll in some kind of a formally organized educational course. And a lot of it's very much digital related, tech related. There's a lot of marketing related events. So based on that demand, we're able to create these courses with education partners.
I don't know what it's like to be in this kind of business of yours, but wouldn't digitization or making things living in virtual realm kind of be counterproductive into how you want to grow your business? Because let's say if I get everybody, get together in the community through an app, or if I have like a masterclass or a particular, subject, and then modules are being loaded, or the classrooms are being loaded online, and I can perhaps consume it. How does it translate to them getting together at one of the Common Ground premises, or is that not kind of a must-do for you as long as all these other ancillary services do their work?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the whole attractiveness of being a member of Common Ground is just that large diversity of experiences and offerings that you can really get a lot out of. Some might happen in our space, some doesn't require us to even be around. They could get together and go hiking or fishing on the weekends. But as long as they got a lot of value out of their Common Ground membership in one way or another, I think we all benefit. I think as the operator ourselves, it's something that makes our product sticky.
Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll discuss a little bit better about the relationship between Klang Valley and Penang. Here's my conversation with Mr. Juhn Teo. How did you get into this kind of industry or this kind of business? I'm sure you didn't wake up one day and say, you know what, co-working space, that's my dream.
Yeah, no, it definitely didn't come in my dreams. So I was working for Guocoland previously, a few years ago, and I was the CEO running the REIT for Guocoland. So I studied the service office industry a lot throughout my time there, and over the last few years of my time there, co-working was really coming up in the whole industry.
And this was maybe 2014, maybe 2015?
Yeah, 15, 16,
Yeah.
14, 15, 16. We could see the rising growth of co-working in other cities around the world, London, in New York, all parts of Australia, and then when it got to Singapore, it became something that was very touchable, very real. And from a real estate point of view, we were looking at it as the next disruptor of the real estate industry. It was really changing a lot of things in the industry itself.
And therefore you made the conscious effort, you decided, okay, you know what, this would be the best place to go in terms of trying to build a business. Co-working space is going to be lucrative, not just for you, but it helps the kind of industry. Was that the kind of turnaround point that you felt at that point in time?
Yeah, I think what we saw was that the service office players had been in this region for 20 years. There's been quite a lot of them. They have done very well in all these cities, in KL, in Bangkok, Singapore, Jakarta, Manila. There are some operators that have 20, 30 venues each in each city. And we could see that the growth of the flexible office demand was very robust. It was definitely growing year on year. I think that service office industry was shifting towards co-working more because the users, the members wanted to have more of an experience out of the space rather than just the desk chair, internet connection, and the small room. They wanted to have a community.
The focus, of course, in 2018 was on cloud. Anywhere from Google to Amazon Web Services, many other services out there argue that if you guys want to have remote teams working remotely, various teams working remotely, then perhaps cloud is the best way to solve all your business problems.
Yep.
But you're trying to bring together everything brick and mortar, put people together here. Is this in direct contention to that kind of school of thought where you can just work anywhere remotely and still be productive?
Yeah, I think it's, I think it works in conjunction with that. I think the rise of co-working and flexible offices has really come about for a number of reasons, and I think technology is a massive part of that. Being able to work remotely, being able to work from your handphone, companies and project teams working in satellite offices away from their headquarters. This has lent itself to spaces like us, being able to cater for these larger companies who have sales teams or business development people or project teams that need to work away from the headquarters for whatever reason. So I think it has worked hand in hand. No doubt, I think it also means that people can work from home. So that's where people say to us, oh, you know what, I can work from home as well. I've got the internet at home. I don't need to come to a place like this. It is and it isn't for everyone. I think for some people, they feel that home is a little bit isolated, it's a little bit lonely. Yeah, you can work from home and you've got all your creature comforts there, but in terms of being part of a community, learning and developing yourself as a business person or an entrepreneur, they feel that it's better to be in a place like this where you're surrounded by like-minded people. We have so many SMEs in our spaces, so many solopreneurs, so many sole proprietorships that...
Sorry, is that even a word, solopreneur? It's interesting.
I'm pretty sure I read it somewhere.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think I heard it on Astro Awani.
Oh my God.
But, one-man shows or small companies, and we've come to learn their pain points after these 2 years of running Common Ground for them. And a big part of their pain point is that, look, these are small companies, they don't have the resources to handle a lot of the business functions themselves. So they have had to obviously outsource a lot of this, your HR, your payroll, your digital marketing, your accounting, your tax, all this is getting outsourced. It's expensive for them to do that for such a small company. It's hard to integrate. It takes time to transfer everything that you've written in your payroll software all the way over to your accounting and your tax later on. So it doesn't make sense for them to hire people to do this themselves as well. These are small companies. So we have a ever-growing pool of partnerships with firms that are catered towards offering services to SMEs. And we're able to leverage ourselves as a much larger organization with all these members and all these SMEs behind us to really get great corporate rates, free advice even. We have a partner that gives us free tax advice for all our members once a week. Those are just some examples of how we can really use our strength in numbers to get really good support services for all our members.
Those were my conversations with people that were involved in the co-working space. Remember, if you want to continue enjoying these kind of episodes, just head on to astroawani.com. We have plenty of new offerings there, plenty to mention actually. So just head on there, browse and find what you like there. That's it from me for this particular episode. Enjoy your weekend and thank you and goodbye.